we be faithful, but not blindly faithful? The concept of blind faith is actually, I believe, I can't guarantee this, I haven't done the research, but my instinct is that the concept is actually a Western concept rather than an Eastern concept. Because in the East, in the traditions of India, and as those traditions have gone out into other countries, even from India, they're traditions that are rooted in faith, rooted in devotion, and people's lives are fed from that faith, from that devotion. Things happen. You may have faith in someone that it turns out wasn't really worthy of your faith, but nobody ever that I've heard of in history regretted that they had had faith. The faith in and of itself. See, faith has two aspects. The one who has faith and the object of the faith. So if I have faith in you, well, one part of this faith package is you, but the other part is me. And even though it may turn out that maybe you weren't necessarily the right person to put my faith in, I'm so grateful for the experience of having faith. The faith has changed me. There's actually a beautiful story, a very, very traditional, common story of the Indian spiritual tradition of a man who has this guru, and he's got great faith in his guru. And the man wants nothing more than to be able to walk on the water. And he says to his guru one day, "Guru, please give me the mantra so that I can walk on the water." The guru says, "Okay, you've been such a good, faithful disciple. I'll give you the mantra." And he writes it on a leaf. And then he folds the leaf up and he gives it to the man and he says, "Hold this folded leaf in your hand with the mantra written on it, and you will be able to cross the water. But whatever you do, don't open the leaf. The mantra is secret. Just hold it in your hand and you will be able to walk." So the man takes the folded up leaf with the mantra that the guru's written and he walks out onto the water and he's amazed. He's walking. Here he is on the water walking. And about halfway across the river, he gets curious. My God, what is it? What is it that this man could have written on the leaf that has kept me able to walk on the water? I'm defying physics. I'm defying the laws of nature. What could have been written on the leaf? And so he opens up the leaf, and as he opens the last fold, he sinks into the water, and as he's sinking, he catches a glimpse of what's written on the leaf, which is faith. And the story is one that's a very, very traditional story. It has some different incarnations, but a very traditional, fundamental story of this spiritual tradition of India in which faith itself is the magic. It's not so much the object in which I have faith that's the magic. It's my faith which is the magic. And people know that, which is why stories like this come out of this tradition. So I believe that the concept of blind faith, a derogatory, negative term, the concept of sort of faith without my rational mind, faith without my common sense, faith without this tool that has been fine-tuned in the educational system, in the societal system. Faith without that we call blind faith. And so when the questioner asks how to have faith without blind faith, well, we have to look at what does blind faith mean? And why Why is it a problem? Sure, there's lots of stories in history of people who have faith in someone who wasn't worthy. And it's not just religious leaders. You have faith in doctors who give you the wrong the wrong advice. Doctor advises you to take some medicine, it makes you worse, advises you for some operation, you die on the operating table. Or the opposite, tells you you're going to be fine, nothing to worry about. 2 weeks later, you're in a hospital bed, much, much sicker. I mean, this is common stuff. We have faith in our spouses and our husbands and our wives. We have faith that they're not going to betray us. But they betray us every day. It's a very, very common and typical aspect of life. So having faith in someone that doesn't turn out to be a perfect vehicle for our faith, they don't turn out to have all of that I have faith that they will. My doctor knows everything. He knows how to heal me. I'm going to do what he says. I will be well. Well, sometimes. Sometimes not. So when we think about faith, the really important issue for me is not so much the difference between faith and blind faith, but the difference between faith that is attached to the object of the faith and faith that lives within me. So you see it a lot with people, for example, with faith in God. I have faith in God, and then my child dies. Or something else horrible happens to me. And people lose their faith in God all the time. I believed in God, I worshiped God, I prayed to God, but God betrayed me. God let this horrible thing happen to me. Well, what that's done is that has said, I have faith, I have an attachment to my perspective of what God is supposed to do. Having faith in someone, whether it's God or a being, means I'm not dictating the results. If I go to a restaurant and I order a plate of French fries and the waiter goes away, I have faith, you could say, that the waiter is going to bring me a plate of French fries. It's what I've ordered. It's on their menu. I've paid for it. But you wouldn't really use the word faith there. If I said, I've got faith, he's going to bring me French fries, you'd look at me like, you don't need faith. This is a restaurant. They serve you whatever you pay for. That's his job. This is a business transaction. This isn't about faith. If he brings you anything other than French fries, don't pay. You're paying for French fries. You don't get French fries, don't pay. Business contract is null and void. That's not faith. That's a transaction. It's a business transaction. So if something bad happens in my life and I lose my faith in God, what it means is that was a business transaction. It means I had faith only as long as God was going to deliver to me what I had ordered. Like in a restaurant. So in a restaurant we order French fries. In life we order health and we order success and we order happiness and we order all the things that we want. And when they don't come, if we lose our faith, what it means is it was never really faith. It was a business transaction. Faith means I have faith that whatever is right for me, is that what is going to happen? And so the object of my faith may be my doctor, but the real faith is faith in the universe. And so my doctor may have given me bad advice. I may have gotten sick. I may be angry at my doctor. I may change doctors. But if the faith was real and it wasn't just a business transaction of that particular doctor, my particular illness, but if it was deep faith, then what I know is whatever has happened is that which was meant to happen. Because life is not about thou shalt not get your heart broken. Life is not about thou shalt never be disappointed. There's no promise of that anywhere. There's no scripture that said have faith and you'll never be disappointed. Have faith and you'll always get A's on your exams. Have faith and your stocks will always go up. Have faith and your children will never get sick. There's no scripture that says that. There's no real guru who says that. Because that's not what faith's about. Faith is not the transaction. Faith is not about, I see you as a vending machine, and if I put in my dollar bill and I push the button for chocolate, I have faith chocolate's going to come out. It's not faith. Faith is, I know inside that there is an intelligence. And in this moment, I'm connecting with that intelligence through you. But if it turns out that what I had ordered is not what I get, I still have faith. And that's why I believe that the concept of blind faith comes from the West. Because here in India, people get disappointed and betrayed just as much as they do anywhere else in the world. But their faith is so strong that what you hear people say is, oh, it must have been God's plan. Doctor gave me the wrong medicine, I got sick, must have been God's plan. My husband or my wife cheated on me. Must have been something written into my destiny that I'm supposed to learn from. There's always a connection back to the faith itself, separate from the object in whom they had faith. And that faith is what keeps them going. And so when we ask how to have faith without blind faith, what I would say is have faith in the universe, have faith in the divine, and make sure that it's not a business transaction. Make sure that my faith is not, I have faith that if I do 11 Shiva Abhisheks, my son's going to get into the college that I want him to go to. That's not faith. It's business. It's a contract. I'll do this for you, you do this for me. Faith is, God, I know that whatever you plan for him is going to be right. Because whatever you plan for all of us is right. And we're in your hands. So that's the faith that actually keeps us going. The only thing that is blind, the only thing that if you say blind faith would be, if I'm attached to you specifically as the vehicle of the divine will, and I refuse to use all of the information that I'm getting. We've got 6 senses. 5 that we usually talk about, and the 6th of intuition. And intuition is just as much of a sense as our other 5 senses. Science just can't measure it, so they tend to leave it out, but it's just as present and just as real and just as true as all of our other senses. So if one of my senses is giving me information that maybe this isn't the right person to have faith in, and I'm not looking at it, that's blind. That's the blind faith. And that's what we need to be aware of. If we're getting the information, well, we have to keep our eyes open, keep our ears open, and then change what we're doing. But that's the only piece of it that's blind. The rest of the faith is that which, whether the person is worthy of it or not worthy, that's what keeps us going. So we should always hold on to that.